being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement, the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and posted on the bulletin board of Township Hall.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Simonson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Beck.
Here. Before we go to the work session, we have a remarkable young lady here tonight. A couple of weeks ago, we did a proclamation in honor of the Senior Corps volunteers, and at the time, I had made mention that I wanted to get somebody in here who really exemplifies that spirit of volunteerism. And we have Mrs. Frances Guinan with us here tonight, and I have Mrs. Sheila Harris here. And Sheila is the, I guess, our supervisor. If Sheila would get up and participate with me in this presentation. She's the Southern Coordinator for the New Jersey Foster Grandparent Program. What makes Mrs. Guinan so remarkable is that she, excuse me for saying your age, but that's part of the thing, you're 92 years old. And she has been a foster grandparent for how long?
18 years.
18 years. And, you know, and the proclamation basically says it all, but it's a remarkable, remarkable achievement. And maybe, Ms. Harris, if you could explain just a little bit for a minute or two what the program's about, if you don't mind taking the microphone. This won't hurt.
The Foster Grandparent Program is a Senior Corps program that matches senior citizens in your community with at-risk children in daycare centers, Head Start programs, public school systems, and she's one of 153 volunteers throughout the state of New Jersey. They do mentoring, modeling appropriate social skills, that type of thing.
Okay, now, how many days a week, Mrs. Guinan, if you would take the microphone just briefly, how many days a week do you volunteer?
5 days a week.
And where do you volunteer at?
Up at the St. Raymond's School.
Okay, and that is the Head Start program, correct?
Yes, the Head.
And you also go to Wildwood? Is it?
Yes, occasionally I get transferred over to Wildwood whenever they're short of help.
Okay. So you're 92 years old and you volunteer every day, and what do you average each day, like 6 hours or
Now it's about 6 hours.
6 hours a
Short
day?
of help.
You know, I don't know what to say. It is, and you've been doing it, like I said, for 18 years. On top of it, you're a member of the St. John of God Spirit Players, are you not?
Yes.
That means you sing, dance, and whistle. You're an actress, is what it boils down. You're an actress,
Well,
right?
I had the extreme pleasure to be Elvis Presley.
And really, at one of the shows over there. Well, you're not wasting any time on this earth, that's for sure. You're spending it very wisely.
Yeah.
And the way you spend it for the betterment of children, it can't be spent any better than that.
Well,
And we appreciate that.
I just hope a lot of people take note, and if they want something to do instead of sitting home watching TV, we need the help. The children need the help. They really do.
And you're absolutely right. And I made mention at the time about the Christ Child Society because I taught at St. Raymond's when it was a Catholic
that's
Catholic
right,
school.
yeah.
And we would have chairs in the hallway, and these ladies would come in and sit down and read to these little
Right.
kids that were having some difficulties and trying and keep them on track. And their contributions were certainly appreciated, as well as I'm sure yours are. But we can't say enough. Now, I've got a proclamation which I'm going to read, and then we'll come down and everybody can get in a photo and give you a round of applause. And it says, proclamation honoring Frances Guinan, whereas Frances Guinan, 92 years young, lived in Media, Pennsylvania, and moved to Lower Township in 1984. And Frances is the matriarch of 2 daughters, 4 grandsons, 1 great-grandson, is a member of the Spirit Players at St. John of God Church, and enjoys embroidery and playing, and what's it, mahjong, right?
Yes,
Am I pronouncing it right?
yes.
Okay, it's close enough for what we're doing, right? And she plays that at the senior center on Fridays. And whereas Frances has been sharing her talents by dedicating her time to our children over the last 18 years, currently with St. Raymond's Head Start program and Holy Trinity Episcopal Church in Wildwood. And whereas Frances has stated her purpose in life is, quote, to dry as many tears of children as possible and to give as many hugs as I can to kids who desperately need them. Well, that's a worthy goal. And it says here that with sincere admiration that I, Mayor Michael E. Beck, and the Lower Township Council do hereby extend our heartfelt gratitude to Frances for her dedication to the children of Lower Township and wish her many more years of giving hugs. And we can't say thank you enough to you for what you do, and we really do appreciate that.
Thank you for the recognition.
No, that's an easy one. Council will come down.
Contributory negligence.
Okay, moving right along, we got another favorite son that we enjoy having in here, Kevin. Kevin Maloney is going to do an update on the Maritime Museum and the monarch habitat. His wife Sandy's here. He does a fantastic job as far as for the township too. Go ahead, Kevin,
Mayor
update
Beck.
us.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Beck, for the kind words, and Deputy Mayor Clark and council members and Manager Julie and your staff. And I'd like to introduce Larry Hume here as well. He's been instrumental in this project. So, and Mrs. Guinan, congratulations to you. And I can tell you, you'll be an honored guest. You can bring your family down to the monarch butterfly habitat. Again, you'll be an honored guest there, so that'll be great. Yeah. So, yeah. The reason I'm here is again, from time to time we like to brief council and the members of the community on some of the projects and some of the activities for the Cape Maritime Museum and Education Center. We're all volunteers, and we're currently involved with a number of projects. One is a youth outreach boat building program. We're restoring a 36-foot motor lifeboat that his sister was recently featured in the Finest Hours Walt Disney picture. And we've received support from recently from Commander Prestige from the Coast Guard and a number of our community leaders as well, including Township of Lower here. Last September, one of our other projects is the restoration of the Magnesite plant area and the construction of a reconstruction of an 1876 life-saving station as you know, that was featured at the World's Fair, the exposition in Philadelphia, moved here. It became part of the life-saving service operational, became part of the Coast Guard. So as part of that project, it involved, it was an open spaces, and perhaps you don't know, but part of the mandate for open spaces is to enhance public access, but it's also to protect the natural habitats for wildlife and vegetation. And to that end, as part of that project down at Sunset Beach, I received this email from Dave Golden, who's the New Jersey DEP Fish and Wildlife Chief. And he said in his email, and he proposed to create a monarch, migratory monarch butterfly habitat. The habitat, the monarchs have been, their numbers have really been dwindling significantly over the last few years, and they attribute that in part to the natural habitats along the gateway that have no longer been available to them. And these butterflies are actually marvelous creatures. Their migratory period is almost 3,000 miles. So, and again, right here in Township of Lower is one of their strategic sending off points, similar to the Audubon, the birds flying over the Delaware. So, and Dave wrote, he said, if we're successful in getting goldenrod established in this area, and that whole area is really disturbed there, then it'll create quite a wildlife spectacle during the butterfly migration. And so he just sent that, and we said, wow, that seems like a really good idea. And we approached Larry, who's has the Sunset Shop there, and Michelle, and he was instrumental in getting the parking area there established, and we thought, what he would think about it. And we also contacted the Rutgers University, the Master Gardeners, and asked them if they would help to participate in doing the overall design. And they were absolutely delighted, I think, to come on board. And so we have a number of the Master Gardeners on board. They recommended that the soil was not adequate there, that we provide some topsoil. So, and also that we do this in a phased approach. The actual site is just to the east of the new parking area, and it's going to be between, if you're familiar with the World War II control tower parking area there, up to the new parking area, the parking area near Sunset, near the miniature golf shop there, and then miniature golf course, I guess it's called, yeah. And so they recommended we do this in a phased approach, and that we include a nature trail in addition to the planting these native shore plants and goldenrod and milkweed and other plants that are really supportive of these fabulous monarch butterflies that migrate in the fall. So we again, most of us are working on a shoestring budget here, so we approached the Cape May County MUA and the executive director, Mr. Fasano. He was really supportive, and he was able to donate the topsoil. Mitchell Nichols delivered it, and we were able to get the DEP. They did the grading and the raking and so forth. So we're moving along quite well. The overall design is going to be about, the recommendation is like, I think a little over 1,200 plants for the first phase. And we talked to the Master Gardeners, and they said, we can point, but we're not going to do the planting. So Councilman Conrad, we approached him, and he volunteered with his Boy Scout Troop 87 to come and help to do the plantings. And so we're getting the, a number of the community involved. Mr. Hume, Larry Hume, and Michelle, as well as the Sportsman's Club, they're going to be providing the irrigation for sustainability. So if we're successful with this phase one, this will be about 20% of the entire habitat. And so we're looking at the end of May, early June to actually to start the plantings there. And by the fall, we're looking at partnering or having the Haymaid Bird Observatory. Mark Garland, they have a monarch monitoring program, and he's a scientist, and he's in charge of that. And what the vision is to set up kiosks so that students, elementary students and community can go and learn about how the monarchs are tagged and learn about the biology of the monarchs. And so we think it's going to be a great addition to our community and that whole area there. And so we're hoping that it'll be something that we can all be proud of, so. And the Phillies are on tonight, so the mayor said he's.
No. The mere fact that the Phillies are, what, 5 in a row has nothing to do with it.
All right,
6
so-
in a row. Listen,
But-
we're proud of what you're doing. I mean, it'll be awesome, and thanks, Tom, for the contribution to the scout crew, but you're a ball of fire. We
Trust me,
need
it's not
about
me,
10 of
Mayor, it's not me, it's all these, an incredible community we have here. Again, like Mrs. Guinan, we just have some
Yeah,
tremendous
this is true.
treasures and assets in this community that, and whenever I go and ask people or, for support and help for these projects, gosh, it's they're always there. And
Yeah, but somebody has to lead the parade, and we're
So-
grateful for your contribution.
well, thank you, Mayor. Thanks for again, and thanks for your
And-
support, and council as well. You guys have been terrific, so thank you. And
certainly.
manager as well, thank you.
Thank you.
And Julie.
All right. Thanks again. Okay, we move down now to the consent agenda. Any council comments or questions on the consent agenda? Any public comment on the consent agenda? Close the public portion.
Approval of the New Jersey State Firemen's Association membership applications for Jennifer A. Long, Zachary A. Driscoll, and Crystal A. Hill, all of the Villas Volunteer Fire Company. Approval of minutes from April 18th, 2016, and resolutions number 2016-138 through 2016-145.
Okay, do I have a motion and a
Make a
second?
motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Move down to council comments. Councilman?
Spring is here. It's a beautiful time of year. I was just away, and I can't tell you how nice it was to drive down Bay Shore Road and see everything starting to turn green again. Going into the township for this meeting, looking back, seeing people playing on the playground, basketball. We live in a wonderful township. I just traveled down the East Coast to Florida for a family vacation. Some places we stopped. We need to really appreciate where we live and try to make this a better place for all. That's it for now.
A couple things I want to comment on. First of all, a little update for the Roseanne Avenue project that the engineers are finishing up, getting ready to submit their applications to DEP for the permits and all the other state agencies that they need to apply for. And then hopefully when those approvals come back, then we can start to put the bids in order and get them out to bid. How long that's going to take is probably going to be up to the state, how long it takes DEP to get back with the approvals or comments, whatever they may have in regards to the applications. So that's well underway. The other thing is on the 23rd and 24th of April, I had a great experience. Went down to over to Tabernacle Road to the cemetery that the Eagle Scout project was taking place at, and ended up staying in the rain on Saturday for 3 or 4 hours, and came back on Sunday for another 3 hours, and stayed with the boys and helped out in any way I could. And to see the scouts do the job that they did out there was totally remarkable, and what a beautiful job they have done. It was a really nice project. Anybody gets a chance to, and have never been there, that was the first time I was really there and walked through the area. It really takes you back. It's a very, very nice area to go back and reflect of some of the history back here in Lower Township. The other thing is, also had the chance last week to go out to the Little League, couple of Little League games, and got to see the youngsters of Lower Township out there playing ball with their parents in the bleachers and their grandparents in the bleachers, and looking around to emulate what Tom had said about Lower Township. It's really great to go out and see the community out enjoying themselves, the children having a great time, and along with some of the words that Councilman Simonson had said in the past, I do believe that it's a lot better to steer children in the right direction. It's a lot easier when they become adults rather than worry about the problem then. Let's avoid any potential problems now. And things were going really good in Lower Township so far from what I see this spring. So you get a chance, it's pretty neat too. Go out and see a Little League ball game. They're a lot of fun to watch. Really are.
At the right cost.
And the right cost.
I guess it's my turn, right? I've been in discussions with Jack Moran of CETO. He has offered to put a life jacket station in at our boat ramp at Spicer's Creek. The manager and I met out at the boat ramp with Jack, and also David Craig from Lucky Bones is going to give us an area. Jack, they install the rack for the life jackets, and they use an honor system. So if someone forgets life jackets or does not have enough, they'll have different sizes, youth sizes as well as adult sizes. And it's a great thing, just adding safety to our boaters and those that use watercraft there at the at the boat ramp. So we appreciate that. We'll get Jack in here to do a real short presentation on it in the future for a work session. Also want to encourage everyone to get out this weekend and support. We have our Coast Guard Community Weekend, and I'm sure the mayor will have more details on that, but I know our big day is Sunday down at the ferry. I got a chance to see Commander Prestige a couple times this week, and it's a real honor. There's only a handful of communities throughout the country that have been designated as Coast Guard communities, and we are one of them. So take the opportunity to check that out this weekend. And yeah, if you can catch a ball game over there behind Mitnick, at some point times you can catch 3 games at once. So there's a lot of action going on, it goes on into the night with the under the lights is neat too. So it's just great to see that many kids involved and participating in our recreation. So that's it for me. Thank you.
I'd just like to give an update about the Fishing Creek School. It's a wonderful story that began about 6 years ago, and it's got a really happy ending, I think. 6 years ago, it was the mayor said, come on down and I want to give you a cup of coffee and show you an old broken down school. And it was in need of repair. And thanks to the Friends of Fishing Creek School, which was formed, and thanks to Colleen Crippen, who supported the whole effort with a grant, that school has been completely renovated. And just before the renovation started, we invited the superintendent of the elementary school system into the building just before the work began to get done, and we told him that we really wanted to use this facility for education purposes, especially early childhood education. And Joe Cirencio, the superintendent at the time, was very moved by what he saw, and the school really touched in him the whole bridge the close bridge and close connection between the community and the school, which was represented by the old one-room schoolhouse. And he said we really need to get back to basics. He talked about the need to reach out to families in the area that had 3-year-olds before they get to pre-K. And so he said, if you fix this up, we're going to start this program called 3VP. It's the 3-year-old visitation program. And bless his heart, Joe, with no money from the state, no money from the federal government, worked it within his budget to hire 2 school teachers to do nothing but reach out to the approximately 180 to 200 families each year that have 3-year-olds that are going to be thinking about pre-K. And these two women that were hired and trained would go out into the homes and work with the families and help them get, and a lot of these moms, and dads, they want to do the right thing, but they don't always know what the right thing is. And so these teachers would go into the home in a place where the parents were comfortable and really help in a lot of these things. So then this program continued on for several years as the school was getting fixed up. So now it's ready to go, it's ready to open up and be used, and now we have a new superintendent of schools, and we invited him into the building today. His name is Jeff Samaniago.
Close enough.
Close enough for, but Sam, we just call him Dr. Sam, but Jeff was thrilled to be in the school. He didn't realize how well the school had been fixed up. It's so beautiful. But both of his kids had been through this three-year-old visitation program, and both of his kids greatly benefited from the program. And he talked about how great it was to have someone come out and help his 3-year-olds prepare for school as the superintendent. And then the business manager also, I guess it was, I don't know if it was, I think grandchildren that were also participated in the program. So they were both just thrilled that now we're ready to go. And the discussion was that the two teachers that are doing this could set up their desks right there in the one-room schoolhouse starting in September and say to the families that if they don't want the teachers to come into the home to get their 3-year-olds ready for school, that they could bring them right over to the Fishing Creek School and work with them there. So the idea was a couple of desks, the teachers could set up, books could be organized, and we're going to tell you more about that, but I'm just so happy to report that a project that we established 7 years ago with the intention of really making a difference in early childhood education is coming to fruition. Talked to Manager Ridgway about it. He was very excited, and we'll be meeting with those teachers shortly, and we'll have Jeff come in here and talk a little bit more about the program as it develops. But thanks, Jim, for...
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a couple announcements. Would you like to go first?
Go ahead.
We will officially be announcing next week, but I'd like to state it publicly tonight for the community that the court will start to operate, Lower Township Court will be operating May 17th, which is a Tuesday, where we all are right now. It'll be a temporary court situation until the building is complete at the airport, but we've been moving different groups over the past couple of weeks. The construction and planning offices, which were behind that wall, they officially opened up today. Our phone lines were changed next door, and as I said, we are open. The Fire Safety Bureau, which had been over at the airport, is currently operating in the recreation center and adhering to the same hours as they had over there. You can go to fire safety from 8:30 till 4:30. Court day will be Tuesdays, and when the general public does come into the facility for other business, there will be metal detectors at the door, and during court days, Tuesdays, there will be 3 police officers present in the building, 2 at the entranceway and 1 in the courtroom. Also, I'd like to tell you that our schedule for our summer concert series has been completed. It is expanding again this summer. We'll be doing 6 Wednesdays in a partnership with the DRBA. And since there was a baseball note earlier about the Phillies a couple months ago, we honored one of our local hometown athletes from Lower Cape May Regional who we're hoping could hang on with the Chicago Cubs. And right now, the Cubs are also, I think they have the best average in baseball. And Matt Caesar, I believe Friday night, hit his first Grand Slam home run in the majors. And tonight, as we are here, he is starting in right field for the Chicago Cubs against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I think that's fantastic. So, thank you, Mayor.
We should go to the game. I'm in. Road trip. Okay, as Eric said, we have May 8th, Sunday, the Coast Guard Community Day at the ferry terminal. The 14th and 15th, Relay for Life at the high school. And June 12th is the triathlon. We'll get more information on that. We're hoping to have Steve come in here and tell us about that. Okay, we'll open it up for call to the public. If anybody has any comments or questions, step forward. Okay, close the public portion.
Resolution number 2016-146, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-12. This is regarding contract negotiation update.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Like